Many years ago, I got my first bachelor apartment. It was a basement unit with a two-story walk-up on the edge of my town's campus, so naturally, it was an eclectic mix of wealth and poverty. I was somewhere closer to the latter. This place was tiny. With a mattress on the floor against one wall, I could lie on the floor, feet against the edge of the mattress, and touch the far wall with my fingertips, so there wasn't much space. The kitchenette was to the right of the apartment door, and there was a tiny bathroom in the back. One night, at around 4 a.m., I heard growling, and because my apartment was so small, and I was so close to the apartment door, and because it was so dark, it sounded like the growling was inside my apartment. It sounded like there was an angry, hurt animal growling on the other side of my living room, and in the pitch black, that was truly terrifying. I lay there, under my blankets, terrified. The growling went on for almost 30 minutes, and would get louder and more angry, then taper off a little, then louder and angrier and higher pitched, like a wail or a shriek, and then stop. Finally, I heard this scratching on my door, and the growling stopped. There was nobody in my apartment, never was. It was my next-door neighbor, and apparently she believed she was possessed. She did this a few more times. She would lie on the floor outside my apartment in the hallway, out of sight from my peephole, so I couldn't see her. I could only hear her growling and speaking something that wasn't English, and always well into the night. I had no phone, and ours were the only apartments in the basement, as the rest of it was for the furnace and water heaters and storage. So when I wanted to go out, I had to pass her apartment, which started becoming a bad time. Every time I needed to leave home, it got to the point where I had to tiptoe past her door, because if she heard me, she would rush to her front door and start banging on it, shrieking and cursing until I was far enough away that I could not hear her. I spoke with the landlord/super, and he said that she was fine as far as he was concerned, as far as his experiences with her were concerned. She was a lovely, quiet woman who mostly kept to herself. Of course, because we were the only tenants on that floor, nobody else heard what was going on, so it was her word against mine. About a month after speaking with the super about her, she set fire to her apartment cooking toast. She had just put the bread on the burner and forgot about it and set a small fire. Nobody was badly hurt, the building was evacuated, and she went to the hospital with smoke inhalation, but was released the next day. When they went in to assess the damage, they discovered that she had written on every square inch of her apartment walls in small, neatly written cursive handwriting, vague religious/scripture style verses, and apparently an attempt to keep the demons contained. I moved out at the end of the month and never looked back. I heard through a friend that she was diagnosed with a severe schizophrenic disorder and some other things, and was put on a heavy course of medication to deal with it. To this day, I wouldn't know her if I passed her in the street. I never once saw the woman who became feral and lay growling and shrieking outside my door. I only heard her, and she scared the living crap out of me.